Welcome to the Leo Wellness Podcast. I'm Eric, and super excited to be with you today on our deep dive into the fascinating world of beeswax.
And I'm Zay, thrilled to be here.
Most people think of candles when they hear beeswax, but we're going to go way beyond that today, right?
Absolutely. It's so much more than that. It's really a treasure trove of beneficial compounds with a rich history, and we use it for everything, from skincare to food preservation.
It's amazing to me that something that comes from a tiny little insect can have such a profound impact on us.
Yeah.
So let's start at the very beginning.
Right.
Where does beeswax come from? How do beekeepers even harvest it?
So it all starts in the hive, and it's with the worker bees.
Okay.
And these busy little creatures have these special glands that secrete tiny flakes of wax.
Oh.
And then they use those to build those intricate honeycomb structures that we all know and love.
The honeycombs.
Exactly. And beekeepers, they carefully harvest the beeswax during different stages of beekeeping.
Oh, okay.
So, for instance, they collect cappings wax, and those are those thin layers that seal the honey cells. And this is actually considered the purest form of beeswax.
Wow.
And then there's honeycomb wax, which is harvested from older honeycombs.
Okay.
And finally, burr comb, which is that excess wax that bees sometimes build outside of the structured frames.
So different sources, different kinds of beeswax.
Makes sense, right?
That makes a lot of sense. Now, I've noticed that beeswax comes in like all these different colors, from pale yellow to almost black.
Uh-huh.
What causes these different shades?
That's such a great observation. The color of beeswax actually tells us a story about its origin and its use within the hive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so freshly produced beeswax, especially that cappings wax, is usually a light yellow or even white.
Okay.
But over time, as the wax is used in the brood comb, that's where the baby bees develop.
Right.
It starts to accumulate impurities like propolis.
Yeah.
You know, that amazing resinous substance that bees use as like a glue and sealant,
Uh-huh.
along with bits of pollen and pupal casings.
So like the darker it is, the more it's been lived in, so to speak.
Precisely.
Interesting.
It's fascinating, isn't it? So to make this raw beeswax, useful for different applications, it has to undergo this cleaning process.
Okay.
First, it's melted, and that separates it from like the larger impurities,
Uh-huh.
and then it's filtered to remove any of the remaining debris.
I see.
And did you know that the leftover stuff from filtering is called slum gum?
Slum gum, never heard of that.
I know, right? It sounds a little unappealing,
Yeah.
but it's this fascinating mix of like hive remnants, like pupal casings and pollen bits, even tiny bee wings.
Huh.
It really gives you a glimpse into the bustling world of a beehive.
That's cool.
Yeah, and after filtering, sometimes the beeswax is further clarified by heating it with water.
So from hive to hands, beeswax goes through quite a journey before it ends up in, our candles and lotions.
Absolutely. And to make it even more versatile for products like creams, balms, and polishes,
Right?
it's often softened by mixing it with oils, both mineral and vegetable.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the composition of beeswax.
Okay.
I know it's made up of all these beneficial compounds with their own unique properties.
Yeah.
Can you kind of break down, like, what are the key players in beeswax and what makes them so special?
Of course. So let's start with esters.
Okay.
They're the most abundant component of beeswax.
Wow.
Yeah, they make up about 70% of its competition.
70%.
Yeah, they're essentially the architects of beeswax. They give it its solid yet pliable texture.
Right.
One of the most significant esters is maracol palmitate,
Okay.
and this contributes to the wax's structural integrity and water repellency. So it makes it ideal for creating that protective barrier.
So 70% esters, that's a lot.
Right.
Without those, it wouldn't even be beeswax.
It wouldn't be the versatile substance we know and love.
What else is in this amazing mix?
So next up, we've got fatty acids.
Okay.
And this is where it gets really interesting, especially for those who are interested in skincare.
I am.
Yeah, because many of the fatty acids in beeswax are also naturally found in human skin,
Huh.
which makes it wonderfully compatible and beneficial.
Wow.
Yeah, for instance, palmitic acid that
Okay.
creates this protective layer on the skin,
Okay.
preventing moisture loss.
Uh-huh.
Then you've got oleic acid, known for its anti-inflammatory properties,
Oh, nice.
and linoleic acid, which promotes skin repair and elasticity.
It's fascinating to me how something from bees, our skin can benefit from it.
I know, right?
That's cool. Are there any other components we should know about that contribute to its benefits?
Absolutely. We can't forget about the alcohols.
Okay.
And now these aren't the drying alcohols that you might find in, some conventional skincare products.
Right.
These are non-drying alcohols that enhance the beeswax's smooth texture and provide additional skin benefits.
Huh.
So ceryl alcohol, for example,
Oh.
acts as a thickening agent in creams and lotions.
Okay.
And lanosterol, which is a naturally occurring sterol that aids in skin repair and hydration.
So esters provide structure, fatty acids nourish, and alcohol smooth and soothe.
It's like a well-coordinated team,
Yeah, it really is.
all working together to create this amazing substance.
What about hydrocarbons? I've heard of those.
Yes, we have hydrocarbons, and they are crucial for the stability and shelf life of beeswax.
Okay, so they keep it from going bad.
Yeah, exactly. They prevent it from going rancid or becoming brittle.
I see.
So, for example, heptacosane
Okay.
has natural antibacterial properties,
Oh,
while nonacosane prevents brittleness,
okay.
and hentriacontane is all about waterproofing.
It's just so many components, and each one has a specific function.
Yeah, I know. It's like this perfectly orchestrated symphony of nature,
It
right?
really is. Now, what about propolis?
Oh, you have a great memory. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Beeswax also contains trace amounts of propolis.
Okay.
Remember that potent resinous substance that bees use as a sealant and antimicrobial agent in the hive?
Yeah.
So these propolis residues, although they're small in quantity, they actually contribute to beeswax's overall antibacterial and antioxidant properties.
So even those little bits of propolis add another layer of benefit.
Exactly.
Wow. Anything else?
Well, beeswax also contains a bit of vitamin A,
Okay.
which is essential for skin health and repair. And then you've got your trace elements, those tiny but mighty minerals that contribute to its overall goodness.
It's incredible how nature can pack so much goodness into something that seems so simple.
I know, right?
Let's move beyond the composition, though, and get into what are the benefits?
Okay.
What can beeswax actually do for us? I'm particularly interested in, like, the skincare benefits.
Yeah, that's a great question, and that requires us to dive even deeper into the science behind beeswax.
Okay, I'm ready.
Prepare to be amazed. So beeswax is a true skincare superstar.
Oh, nice.
It's a natural moisturizer, emollient, and healer, so it makes it a cherished ingredient in tons of skincare products.
Yeah, I've seen it everywhere.
What sets beeswax apart is its unique ability to create a breathable barrier on the skin.
Okay.
So unlike those petroleum-based products that can clog pores, beeswax allows the skin to breathe while protecting it from moisture loss.
That's what I've always wondered about those, like, breathable skincare claims.
Right.
So it lets moisture out, but it keeps it from getting too dry?
Exactly. And because of that, it's incredibly versatile.
Yeah.
It's a staple in lip balms. You know, it creates that protective layer to keep lips hydrated and prevent charping.
Uh-huh.
In lotions and creams, it adds a luxurious texture and provides lasting moisture without feeling greasy.
Right.
And for those with sensitive skin, beeswax is a gentle and hypoallergenic option.
So I've also heard that it's good for people who have things like eczema and psoriasis.
Yeah.
Is there any truth to that?
There's definitely some scientific evidence to support those claims because beeswax has those remarkable anti-inflammatory and antibacterial properties.
Right.
And those properties, combined with its ability to create a protective barrier, make it really good at soothing and healing irritated skin.
So not just moisturizing, but actually calming down the inflammation.
Precisely.
Okay.
And its healing power goes beyond skincare.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's got a long history of being used in wound healing and traditional remedies.
Wow.
I mean, think about it. Bees use propolis, which is in beeswax,
Right.
to sterilize their hives. It's like nature's antiseptic.
That's pretty cool. So it can actually help protect against infection and promote faster healing.
Exactly. It acts as a natural barrier, preventing bacteria from getting into the wound,
Mm-hmm.
while simultaneously promoting cell regeneration and tissue repair.
That's pretty incredible. So I'm guessing that's why it's in so many natural healing salves and ointments.
Exactly. It's like nature's little first aid kit.
I'm definitely getting myself some of that.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned traditional remedies.
Uh-huh.
What are some of the ways beeswax was used way back when?
Oh, there's tons of historical knowledge about beeswax.
Really?
Ancient civilizations like the Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans all recognized how valuable it was.
Wow.
They used it in everything from cosmetics and medicines to embalming and even mummification.
Wow, they really used it for everything.
I know, and beeswax was a key ingredient in ancient shipbuilding, too.
Really?
Yeah, they used it to waterproof and seal wooden vessels.
Wow. It's amazing to me how something so simple has had such a big part in human history.
I know, it really speaks to how versatile and durable it is, right?
Yeah, for sure. Now, let's talk about some of the other ways that beeswax is used.
Okay.
I know that it has some role in respiratory health.
It does.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
It's often used in cough drops and throat lozenges because it has those soothing and coating properties.
Okay.
So it helps to relieve throat irritation and coughs by creating a protective layer over the mucous membranes.
Uh-huh.
It also acts as this amazing carrier for essential oils.
Oh, okay.
So it can really enhance their effectiveness in balms and vapor rubs that are used for congestion relief.
Okay, so I guess that's why I love those beeswax cough drops.
Exactly.
They just feel better.
Now, here's another interesting fact about beeswax that you might find surprising.
Okay.
Burning beeswax candles actually purifies the air.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Purifies the air?
yeah.
How does that work?
Unlike paraffin candles that can release those harmful fumes into the air,
Right.
beeswax candles release negative ions when they burn.
Okay.
And those negative ions have some beneficial effects, so they attach themselves to pollutants like dust, pollen, and mold spores.
Oh, wow.
They neutralize them.
So they help to clean the air.
Exactly.
Wow, I did not know that.
So beeswax candles not only provide beautiful natural light, but they also improve the air quality.
I'm sold.
Yeah, it's a win-win, right?
It is.
And unlike those artificial air fresheners that have those harsh chemicals in them,
Right?
beeswax candles offer a natural and pleasant aroma.
Yeah, sometimes they smell like honey, right?
Exactly.
Nice.
It's just a wonderful way to create a really soothing and inviting atmosphere in your home.
I am definitely switching to beeswax candles. I
Yeah,
think I'm getting rid of all my other ones.
I think you should.
Okay, so we've talked about skincare, wound healing, respiratory health, air purification.
Yeah.
What else can beeswax do?
Oh, there's so much more.
Really?
Beeswax is incredibly versatile and has found its way into so many different applications.
Mm-hmm.
For example, it's a fantastic natural alternative to plastic wrap for food preservation.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of beeswax wraps?
Yeah, I've seen them at the store, but I
Okay.
don't really know how they work.
So they're a brilliant invention. They're just pieces of cotton fabric infused with beeswax.
Huh.
And the beeswax makes fabric pliable and a little sticky, and that allows you to like wrap it around food, cover bowls, or even create those little pouches for snacks.
It sounds a lot better than dealing with plastic wrap.
Yeah, absolutely.
But are they effective at preserving food?
They are. They work wonders
Wow.
because the beeswax creates this breathable, moisture-resistant barrier that helps to keep food fresh.
Huh.
Plus, beeswax has natural antibacterial properties
Right.
that help to inhibit the growth of mold and bacteria.
Wow.
And it's particularly great for preserving cheese because it lets the cheese breathe while still protecting it from drying out.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, it's pretty amazing how something so simple can help us get away from plastic.
I know, right?
That's pretty cool. So what about like around the house? Are there any cool beeswax uses there?
Absolutely. Beeswax is like an eco-champion at home, too.
Oh, nice.
You can use it to make your own furniture polish.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
just
the-
combine beeswax with olive oil and a few drops of lemon essential oil for a nice, fresh scent.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
So it's like a natural furniture polish.
It restores that shine and protects wood surfaces without all those harsh chemicals found in conventional polishes.
So we get beautiful furniture and a healthier home environment.
Exactly.
That's a win-win. Are there any other household uses?
Beeswax is a fantastic waterproofing agent, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can use it to create a natural water-resistant coating for fabrics, shoes, and even outdoor gear.
Wow.
It's much safer and eco-friendly than a lot of those commercial waterproofing sprays that have harmful chemicals in them.
Wow, the list just keeps going. Seems like there's nothing beeswax can't do. But with all these benefits, are there any downsides? Anything we should watch out for?
That's an important question.
Yeah.
It's always good to be cautious with anything, even natural stuff.
Right.
While beeswax is generally super safe and well tolerated, there are a few things to keep in mind. For example, like with any bee product, there's a chance of an allergic reaction, especially for those with bee allergies.
So if you're allergic to bees, stay away from beeswax.
Yeah, it's best to err on the side of caution.
Okay.
If you know you have a bee allergy, I'd avoid beeswax products, or at least talk to your doctor before using them.
Okay.
And even if you don't have a bee allergy, some folks with really sensitive skin can experience mild irritation or redness.
So best to do a little patch test.
Exactly.
Okay.
And even though we talked about how beeswax is edible and found in some foods like honeycomb,
Mm-hmm.
it's worth noting that ingesting a ton of beeswax could cause some digestive upset.
Yeah, I mean, our bodies aren't really meant to break down wax that well, right?
Exactly. So enjoy your honeycomb in moderation.
Good advice.
And one last thing to think about is where your beeswax comes from.
Okay.
Like any natural product, there can be variations in quality and purity.
So how can we be sure that we're using high-quality beeswax?
That's where a little research and choosing wisely comes in.
Okay.
Look for beeswax from reputable sources that prioritize ethical and sustainable beekeeping practices.
Right.
Opt for beeswax that has been filtered and properly processed to remove impurities.
Uh-huh.
And if you're ever in doubt, ask questions.
Good advice.
Reputable suppliers should always be happy to share information about their sourcing and production methods.
Yeah, makes sense. It's important to remember that even with natural products, you got to be informed and make smart choices.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power, and the more we understand about the products we use, the better choices we can make for ourselves and the environment.
This has been a really, really interesting conversation. I'm so glad we had you on.
Thanks for having me.
I never knew how versatile and beneficial beeswax is.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see this humble substance in a whole new light.
Good.
Now, you mentioned earlier that beeswax is a DIY dream ingredient.
It is.
So tell me more about that.
Okay.
What are some of the fun and practical ways we can use beeswax in our life?
Yeah, I'm all about DIY, especially with natural stuff. It's so rewarding, right?
It is. It is.
One of my favorite DIY beeswax projects is making lip balm.
Oh, yeah.
It's so easy, and you can customize it however you like.
Okay.
All you need is beeswax, a carrier oil like coconut oil or sweet almond oil, and then a few drops of your favorite essential oils for scent.
Okay. Melt, mix, pour.
Exactly. What about those beeswax wraps? We were talking about those earlier.
Yeah. Can we make those at home, too?
You absolutely can.
Okay.
Making beeswax wraps is a fun project, and it's really good for, not using so much plastic wrap.
Right.
You just need some 100% cotton fabric, some grated beeswax, and a baking sheet.
Okay.
You just sprinkle the beeswax over the fabric, put it in a low-temperature oven until the wax melts, and boom, you have reusable, eco-friendly food wraps.
That's so cool. It's amazing how simple it is.
I know. If you're looking for a natural way to, soothe sore muscles or relieve congestion,
Okay.
a DIY beeswax chest rub is a great option.
Okay.
You can combine beeswax with coconut oil and essential oils like eucalyptus, peppermint, and rosemary.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah, the beeswax helps to create that protective barrier on the skin,
Uh-huh.
while those essential oils do their magic.
I love natural remedies, especially in the winter when everyone's getting sick.
Me too. They're so helpful.
You mentioned that beeswax is a key ingredient in healing salves.
Oh, yeah, you can make your own blend.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Using beeswax, carrier oils like olive oil or jojoba oil, and then herbs with healing properties like calendula or chamomile.
Huh. Okay.
And these salves are amazing for soothing minor cuts, burns, and skin irritations.
So it really is like this multi-purpose DIY powerhouse.
It is.
From lip balms and food wraps to chest rubs and healing salve, it just has endless applications.
It really does.
It's pretty cool, I think, that something so simple can, connect us back to nature and empower us to, create our own natural wellness products.
It really shows that connection we have with nature, right?
Yeah, and that we can use those substances from nature to, really help us.
Exactly.
This deep dive has been amazing. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I've learned so much
Yeah.
about how beeswax is made, what it's made of, and all the benefits.
Yeah.
I'm honestly seeing it in a whole new light.
That's great to hear.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to go back to something you said earlier about ethical and sustainable sourcing.
Okay.
Why is it so important to choose beeswax from the right places?
That's a really important question.
Yeah.
The demand for beeswax has gone way up lately.
Yeah, for sure.
And that means there's potential for bad practices.
Right, people cutting corners.
Exactly.
Okay.
Some beekeepers might care more about honey production than the well-being of their bees.
Right.
Using methods that could harm the hive or mess with the quality of the beeswax.
So it's about making sure the bees are treated well.
Right.
And that the beeswax is taken in a way that helps the hive and the environment.
Exactly. Ethical beekeeping is all about having this, harmonious relationship with the bees.
Yeah, like a partnership.
Giving them a good environment and collecting the honey and beeswax responsibly.
Right, not being greedy.
Exactly. So it's about making those choices as consumers that really matter.
We have the power to, choose beeswax from the right places and support those good beekeepers.
We absolutely do. And by making those informed choices, we not only benefit from beeswax, but we also help to protect those amazing bees
Right.
and their super important role in our ecosystem.
It's bigger than just us, right?
Exactly.
Well said. Zay, this has been really enlightening.
It's been fun.
I'm so glad we had this chat about beeswax.
Me too.
What's one thing you want our listeners to take away from this?
I want them to really get how versatile and beneficial beeswax is.
Okay.
And feel like they can explore it in their own lives.
Right.
Whether it's using beeswax products or doing some DIY projects.
Yeah, there's so many ways to, embrace it.
Exactly.
It's a gift from nature, really.
It really is.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Zay.
Thank you for having me, Eric. It was a pleasure.
And to our listeners, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into beeswax.
Yeah.
We encourage you to learn more, experiment, and discover the magic of this incredible substance for yourself.
Have fun with it.
See you on our next deep dive.